Good evening. My name is William Watkins, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students.
And I'm Dr. Melanie Bocanegra, Associate Vice President for Student Success. And it's our pleasure to serve as your narrators this evening at the 39th Annual Honors Convocation. We ask that you please rise if you are able and remain standing while the CSUN Jazz A Band, under the direction of Professor Gary Fukushima, plays the national anthem accompanied by vocalist Kevin Roman and performed in American Sign Language by students from this year's graduating class.
by the dawn's early light. What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, and please be seated.
Before introducing members of the platform party gathered with us, to acknowledge the land on which Cal State University Northridge resides. A land acknowledgement is a formal statement that recognizes indigenous peoples as the original stewards of the land for which the acknowledgement is being given. Consistent with our values of respect for all people and alliances with the community, we offer this land acknowledgement in order to honor the indigenous history and affirm our intent to create authentic relationships and take meaningful actions to support American Indian peoples in this region. And as such, California State University Northridge recognizes the Sesavatam, the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of Sesivinga that is now occupied by our institution. And it honors its elders, past and present, and the Sesavatam descendants who are citizens of the Fernandino Tatavian Band of Mission Indians. We recognize that the Sesavatam are still here, and we are committed to lifting up their stories, their culture, and community. Thank you.
The platform party is here to honor all the remarkable students being recognized at this honors convocation. Please join me in acknowledging our distinguished platform party. Distinguished platform party members, please rise if you are able as you are introduced and remain standing until the full platform has been acknowledged. I also ask that the audience holds its applause until the entire platform party and special guests have been introduced. In the second row from left to right, Dr. Matt Kahn, Vice Provost. Cheyenne Moshtael, Associated Students President. Dr. Michael Neubauer, Faculty President. Dr. Hussam Tutanji, Dean for the College of Engineering and Computer Science. Dr. Dan Hoskin, Dean for the Mike Curb College of Arts and Media and Communications. Dr. Chandra Subramaniam, Dean for David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. Joyce Vusht Javier, Dean for Sang College. Dr. Felicia Conlin, CSUN Alumni Association President and Foundation Board Member. And Dr. Mark Stover, Dean for the University Library.
And now, the first row, left to right, Dr. Sherry Tarver-Baring, Dean of the Michael D. Eisner College of Education. Dr. Yan Dominique Cersei, Dean of the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Dr. Jeffrey Reeder, Dean of the College of Humanities. Ron Phillip, Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer. Dr. Mira Kumaraju, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and this evening's keynote speaker. Colin Donahue, Vice President for Administration and Finance and Chief Financial Officer. Nicole Ipak, Vice President for University Relations and Advancement and President of the CSUN Foundation Board. Dr. Michelle Best, Dean of the College of Health and Human Development. And Dr. Jerry Stinner, Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics. Let us please recognize the Honors Convocation platform. Thank you.
Also in attendance are members of our distinguished faculty, staff, and administrators whose leadership, knowledge, and instruction and guidance have played a major role in preparing and supporting the students we honor today. Will all the faculty, staff, and administrators here please rise if you are able and join me, everyone, in recognizing these outstanding members of the university community who have supported your students today.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce this evening's keynote speaker, Dr. Mira Kumaraju, our University Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Prior to starting at CSUN this past January, Dr. Kumaraju also served as Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, where she held also positions of Dean, Associate Dean, Department Chair, and Undergraduate Program Director. More than 30 decades, 3 decades, whoa, 30. 3 decades of excellent leadership in higher education. Dr. Kumaraju has a bachelor's degree in psychology, philosophy, and English literature from Nizam College in India, a master's degree in psychology, and a master's of philosophy degree in industrial organizational psychology from Osmania University in India. She holds a doctorate in industrial and organizational psychology from Osmania University in India, and a doctorate in applied social psychology from the University of Cincinnati in Ohio, well credentialed. She has taught at the undergraduate and graduate level in the departments of psychology and management at Southern Illinois University. She's also taught in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore for Southern Illinois University's Department of Management's off-campus executive MBA program. We are excited to have her here at Cal State University Northridge. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mira Kumaraju, our keynote speaker.
Good evening, graduates, parents, friends, and our CSUN family. I'm very pleased to share this wonderful occasion with you and want to offer my heartfelt congratulations to our graduating matadors on your hard work, resilience, and dedication that led you to this achievement. Our event this evening is very significant because it is important to recognize not only the attainment of your undergraduate degree, but also the triumph of earning honor status. To achieve honors in any academic year is outstanding. But to graduate with honors, having endured a pandemic through part of your college experience, is truly a sign of steadfast perseverance and discipline. The time, effort, and sacrifice that you put into your studies is truly inspiring, and it will serve you very well in the future. So let me tell you a little story. While growing up in India, education was always a priority in our house. In fact, I can clearly remember my father telling my siblings and me that we don't have a whole lot of money or connections with highly placed people. So he said, the only way for you to be successful in your life is to study. I took that to heart, and it has made all the difference. Education certainly opens the way to many, many possibilities. And we all know that studying like you have done was not easy. There were times when your friends went out, but you stayed in. Times you had to work very hard to care for your family and then skipped sleep so that you could study. This all comes down to having a sense of priorities and discipline. And that disciplined ability to focus and prioritize your goals will drive you toward every possible chance to be successful. Being disciplined is being able to make yourself do something that needs to be done, but you don't feel like doing. Many people overlook the importance of this quality, but because you're combining your academic training in your chosen field with a very disciplined approach, you will be the one to rise and face any challenge, and you will be the person who gets the job done. In fact, we see here today that you have already proven that. Discipline will always be the key to your success, and it will help to open many doors in your life. And I hope that you will feel free to choose many different paths and opportunities. There is a vast body of research documenting the importance of being conscientious and disciplined for career success. So you are already poised for future success. Let me caution you, although, not to become complacent in your education. Lifelong learning is crucial to challenge your mind and grow beyond graduation. Keep exploring new interests, take risks, and seek out new opportunities. I have lived in many places across the globe: India, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, Ohio, Illinois, and now California. And every time I moved, I met new people, tried new things, and expanded my worldview. Throughout my career, I have intentionally put myself into spaces that were initially uncomfortable, and I found that each time I have learned and grown in many ways. For example, when I first left India to study in the United States, it was not an easy move. Arriving in a new country and navigating a different educational system required stepping out of my comfort zone. But my love for learning gave me the courage to do this. And connecting with my program director, who became my mentor, provided the guidance that I needed. Subsequently, after becoming a faculty member for many years, I left the comfort of that role and stepped into leadership roles as a department chair, as a college dean, and then the provost. My challenges were quite unique. As a woman from a minority background, I had to learn lots of new ropes and had to overcome many barriers, some very obvious and some hidden. One experience stands out. As a new college dean, I had to attend many evening events with alumni and community members. I did not know any of these people, and I felt a bit hesitant about going to these gatherings. Approaching a group of strangers with a warm smile, introducing myself, and getting to know them seemed daunting. But I decided that I needed to figure this thing out. And what I did is that at each event, I would try to get to know a few people really well. And then, over time, I realized that with practice, I'd gotten to know pretty much everyone because most of the people went to most of the events. So looking back, I feel stronger after tackling many such uncomfortable new situations. Putting myself outside my comfort zone has helped me grow and discover my full potential. I invite you to do the same. As you graduate and step into the next phase of your life, I encourage you to reach opportunities wherever they are and never to fear the unknown. As the philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti said, one is never afraid of the unknown. One is afraid of the known coming to an end. It is normal and understandable to take comfort in the familiar, but don't be afraid of what lies ahead of you. Even as you leave behind the comfort of your CSUN days, embrace the novelty and adventure that await you. Success in your careers and personal lives will also be positively affected by your ability to maintain a work-life balance and good health. Find time for yourself, separate from work or school. For me personally, that means spending time at the Student Recreation Center, going for a long walk, watching a movie, or enjoying conversations with my family. Whatever brings you that sense of joy, don't hesitate to make time for it. Relaxation is a core component of good mental and physical health, and it's important to relax and recharge so you can be at your best professionally. I also encourage you to use your education and skills to make a positive impact on the world. Perhaps your generation, more than mine, recognizes the importance of giving back to your communities and making a difference in the lives of others. Certainly, CSUN has impressed upon you the values of justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Sharing in that commitment, now it is time for you to impact your world through the lens of diversity and inclusion. As a first-generation college student, a first-generation immigrant, and a woman from a minority background, I believe in my heart that each of us can make a difference in this world, and I call on you to accept that responsibility. In conclusion, I offer my gratitude to all of those who have supported you and stood by you throughout this journey. CSUN faculty and staff, your friends and family. Speaking for all of us who have watched and cheered your accomplishments, we are tremendously proud of you and are confident in your success. Congratulations, graduates. Thank you.
I want you all to join me in extending another round of applause for our provost, Dr. Mira Kumbraju, as I present to her one of the Honors Convocation medallions that all of you will be receiving. We want her to be honored and for her to have a memento of this occasion. Dr. Kumbraju. This marks the 39th year during which we have assembled to honor CSUN's heritage of excellence as reflected through the accomplishments of our students. Of the approximate 11,600 students graduating from the classes of fall 2022, spring 2023, and summer 2023, about 3,400 received invitations to the Honors Convocation ceremony, so you are truly honored in a select group, and we celebrate you this evening. This evening, we will be highlighting 6 remarkable graduates, including 1 outstanding graduate student, 4 outstanding graduating seniors, and the Wolfson Scholar. These awards have been sponsored through the CSUN Foundation and private donations. In addition to being presented here this evening, these honorees will receive a cash award, not too bad, a certificate, and the Honors Convocation medallion.
The Outstanding Graduate Student Award is presented to a graduate student who has demonstrated academic excellence and produced a high-quality thesis project. This year's Outstanding Graduate Award sponsored by the Nathan O. Freeman Memorial Fund, is presented to Chanel Wickremaniaki. Chanel is graduating with a Master's of Science in Biology, demonstrating excellence in research, teaching, and service. Her mentors have described her as an academic, mature, and innovative person with a great passion for history and organismal biology. She has co-authored 5 publications to date and is expected to publish 3 additional papers from her graduate research, for which she has garnered $4,500 in research funding and presented at 8 scientific conferences. Throughout her academic journey, yeah, that's awesome. Chanel, how do you have time? Throughout her academic journey, Chanel has carried out independent research on conservation genetics of an endemic lizard from her native Sri Lanka. She secured research permits, carried out all the field work, learned the genomic and bioinformatics skills required to analyze her data, and published her research in a highly respected journal. Her research centering on the understanding the mechanisms of early and mid-stage speciation using red-eyed tree frogs as a model system. That's a mouthful. That's amazing, Chanel. Chanel's graduate teaching and training is also worth noting. She served as a teaching assistant and a graduate assistant for the Department of Biology throughout her time at CSUN. And her mentors explain that she's fantastic with students, employing effective pedagogical tactics to engage them and set them up for success. Chanel was one of 8 CSUN students who developed and facilitated weekly science STEM lessons for 2.5 years for a Spanish immersion elementary school in Canoga Park. Her passion and enthusiasm for working with these young students were commendable. Chanel has been admitted to 2 top PhD programs in the country, and she earned the university-wide recruitment scholarship from Colorado State University as a recognition of her merit and promise. Chanel has excelled in making valuable contributions to science already and will undoubtedly continue to do so as a future biologist. Congratulations, Chanel.
How about another cheer for Chanel? The Outstanding Graduating Senior Award is presented to 4 students who've demonstrated academic excellence, made significant contributions to the campus and the community, and have demonstrated exceptional achievements while overcoming extraordinary life circumstances in attaining the baccalaureate degree. Selection of just 4 students from the many applications was a very difficult task. I know I was a part of that. Before announcing this year's outstanding graduating seniors, let us acknowledge the other students who were finalists for this award. Finalists, please stand as I read your name. First, Suzanne Fisher, majoring in electrical engineering. Next, Noelle Lawson, majoring in nutrition, dietetics, and food science. Okay. Lacey Hall, majoring in business honors and business management. Lacey? And we have Antonia Barella, majoring in music therapy. Please join me in acknowledging these phenomenal finalists for the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award.
The first Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, sponsored by the CSUN Foundation, is presented to Naida Mohammed. Nida Mohammed is a first-generation college student and a woman of color who has achieved exceptional academic and co-curricular success at CSUN. Despite facing various obstacles, Nida has maintained an impressive GPA, earned a spot on the Dean's Honor List every term, and is putting her on track to earn a graduate summa cum laude with a 3.9 GPA. Amazing. During her time at CSUN, Nida's research interest shifted from medicine to cognitive psychology and media use, leading her to become a lead researcher on a project investigating the impact of TikTok on visual attention, something I think we can all learn from. She also served as a co-lead researcher on a project examining the intersectional effects between visual discomfort, academic performance, student employment, and socioeconomic status. Nida's exceptional research accomplishments are evidence of her ability to conceptualize, execute, and disseminate the results of an original research idea, which is nearly unheard of for students of her level. Her intellect, curiosity, and scientific creativity have also shown through in her research, and she has won multiple awards and helped faculty members better understand their students' reality, particularly regarding social media. Nida's academic achievements are extensive. She has been a presidential scholar twice, winning an award in her division at the C-Symposium University-wide Research Competition, being awarded second place in her division at a statewide research competition, and being accepted into no less than 5 doctoral programs. She will be joining the ranks of University of Pennsylvania in the fall and plans to pursue a career as a university professor. Beyond her academic pursuits, Nida has made significant contributions to her community. She has volunteered managing COVID-19 testing programs and making bereavement calls while others were sheltering at home, demonstrating her leadership and altruism. She has also mentored dozens of students from traditionally underserved populations, giving them hope and guidance. Nida is a role model for her peers, a shining example of what can be accomplished with hard work, dedication, and a passion for making a positive impact on the world. Join me in congratulating Nida Mohammed.
The next Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, also sponsored by the CSUN Foundation, is presented to Tanya Parker. She's got a rooting section here. Let me tell you a bit about Tanya. Tanya is an exceptional student who has faced incredible obstacles in her life. Despite growing up in poverty and the foster care system, dealing with multiple adversities and traumatic experiences, including numerous medical challenges and physical disabilities, and managing for over a decade without access to stable housing, Tanya has achieved academic excellence here at Cal State Northridge. She will be graduating this spring from the Department of Child and Adolescent Development with a magna cum laude honors at a GPA of 3.82. Congratulations. Tanya has maximized her experiences at Cal State Northridge, both inside and outside the classroom. She is an active member of the ELP Resilient Scholars Program, Project Rebound, and the Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. Through these organizations, Tanya has found support and encouragement that has contributed to her success as a student. Tanya is also a passionate advocate for current and former foster youth. As a foster youth advocate fellow for the Rise Free organization, Tanya interviews other foster youth and shares with them insights of her own experiences and has created a book that was submitted to the state legislature concerning those experiences. She continues to advocate for free and low-cost textbooks, tuition, and basic needs like housing and food and other needs of students. Additionally, Tanya actively participates in organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous and has recently served as we can cheer that, has recently served as the Literature Fund co-chair of the San Fernando Valley Hospital and Institutions Committee. In this role, Tanya provides books and facilitates speaker panels to support those struggling with addiction and other illnesses, educating and encourage them to stay sober. Tanya's dedication to academic excellence, campus activities, and community service is inspiring. She credits her two sons, I've had a chance to meet them, and her desire to serve as a role model for them as the force that propels her to achieve. Tanya's mantras are, "We can do this," and "There is always hope." Tanya's unwavering spirit and hard work, passion, and determination, coupled with her academic pursuits, offer a glimmering example of how education can break through generational cycles of poverty. After graduate school, Tanya plans to become a licensed clinical social worker, working with foster youth, children with special needs, children who have endured trauma, and other at-promise populations where she intends to make a difference. Tanya's educational journey is inspiring and humbling. Her resilience and determination have shown that obstacles can be overcome with supportive resources, drive, and determination. Join me in congratulating Tanya Parker.
The next Outstanding Graduate Senior Award, sponsored by Karen, Leon, and Rita Goldstein Memorial, is presented to Vayani Quiroga Paez. Vayani is an inspiring individual who has overcome many obstacles to achieve academic excellence and dedicate herself to serving others. Having migrated to the United States from Mexico at the age of 6, she experienced firsthand the prejudice and inhumanity often directed towards immigrants. Being the eldest daughter, she took additional responsibilities to help lessen the burden on her working parents and younger siblings, including starting her first job at the age of 16, and often found herself the first to learn how to navigate a new environment. She gained strength in these experiences and in her love for education, with all of the challenges, fulfillment, and hope that being in school offered, and has been driven by the aspiration that one day she will be in a position to give back to her community. Vianney is now well on that path as the first in her family to graduate a university, where she will receive her degree in deaf studies. She has been on the dean's list every semester since being accepted into CSUN's competitive interpreting education program within her major, and will be graduating with a perfect 4.0 GPA. Vianney's passion is rooted in community service, and she is dedicated to embracing both her own cultural community as well as celebrating, honoring, and serving the deaf community. While here at CSUN, Vianney actively engaged with Mecha, which helped her understand her positionality as a Mexican immigrant and immerse herself in the world of activism. She was also highly with the Deaf Student Association, as well as the Deaf CSUNians organization for students, where she often volunteered as an interpreter to help support their weekly meetings. Her work as a coordinator for student volunteer communication services at CSUN led her to a 3-month internship at California School for the Deaf in Fremont. Yeah. Where she served as a staff interpreter and provided very rare trilingual interpreting services of ASL English and Spanish between deaf faculty, hearing faculty, and immigrant Spanish-speaking families seeking resources for their deaf children. Such an immensely valuable skill set, enhanced further by compassion, empathy, and respect that Vianney provides to those that she is serving. Vianney is a natural leader who has embodied servant leadership throughout her academic journey. She has consistently demonstrated excellence in both academic achievement and leadership, serving as a mentor and big sister to her peers within the department and in clubs and organizations. One professor remarked that Vianney is a resilient individual who models excellence for her peers. She has been able to persevere through personal loss, illness, financial issues, family obligations, and find ways to thrive despite her challenges. Vianney has taken on challenges with grace and kindness, and her ability to navigate difficulty with maturity and focus ensures that she will be a successful person wherever her path leads her. Everyone, please join me in congratulating Vianney Paez.
The final student being recognized as an outstanding graduating senior, also sponsored by the Karen, Leon, and Rita Goldstein Memorial, is presented to Eden Shashua, pictured on the screen. Eden Shashua is an exemplary student, an accomplished leader, and a compassionate individual whose educational journey has been one marked by academic excellence, student engagement, and community service. Throughout her college journey, Edna has maintained high academic standards and excelled in her studies. Her academic success is a testament to her dedication to achieving her career goal of someday becoming a prosecutor for the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. She pursued a double major in business law and business honors with a minor in communication studies. Edna's academic excellence has not only earned her a place on the Dean's List every semester since she started at CSUN, but she will also be graduating summa cum laude with a 3.95 GPA. Edna has also been deeply involved in several student clubs and organizations, co-curricular and community service. She is currently the Associated Students Vice President. She is also a member of the CSUN Forensics Club and has participated in the Nazarian College Moot Court competition, winning first place. Edna has been actively involved in Jewish and cultural organizations, including Shabbat of CSUN, Hillel 818, and Sigma Alpha Epsilon Phi, where she has served in various roles collaborating with organizations to create meaningful educational experiences for her peers. Equally passionate about community service, Edna has volunteered for the Friendship Circle of Los Angeles, a Jewish organization that serves children with special needs. Through her years of volunteering, Edna has learned the values of patience, empathy, and gratitude, and has grown as a collaborator and advocate for those with special needs. Edna's determination, leadership, and compassion have truly set her apart. She hopes to continue her involvement in the future as an active alumna, including providing support for the experiences of future Matadors by coaching mock trial, mentoring student leaders, and continuing to support the Jewish community here at our university. With her academic achievements and commitments to service, Edna is well equipped to make positive impact on society and her community as she prepares to graduate from Cal State University Northridge. Let's give a big cheer for Edna Shashua.
The final award presented this evening will be the university's Wolfson Scholar, which is the highest academic award bestowed upon an undergraduate at CSUN. The Wolfson Scholar is presented each year in the memory of the university's first vice president, Dr. Leo Wolfson, to the seniors selected as the outstanding scholar in the graduating class. Not only must the student have exceptional academic record, but the student must also have made significant contributions to the university or to the community. The Wolfson Scholar is a well-rounded individual for both whom scholarship and service play important life roles. Before announcing this year's Wolfson Scholar, I want to acknowledge the 5 other finalists for this award. These students are outstanding scholars who have contributed extensively to the communities in which they live, work, and study. They will be honored during their commencement ceremony as the Dean Scholar for their college. Will each finalist please stand if you are able when I read your name? Antonia Barella, music major, Mike Curb College. Lacey Hall, management major, David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. Vianney Quiroga Paez, Deaf Studies major, Michael D. Eisner College of Education. Suzanne Barcega Fisher, Electrical Engineering major, College of Engineering and Computer Science. Kiona Williams, Health Science major, College of Health and Human Development. Guadalupe Rosas, Sociology major, College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Please join me in recognizing the accomplishments of these Wolfson Scholar finalists.
This year's recipient of the university's Wolfson Scholar Award is Natalie Castillo. This year, we have the unusual and perhaps unprecedented circumstance of a student being nominated for this award by 2 colleges. Natalie is completing a double major in honors biology and in Central American and Trans-Border Studies, and therefore represents both the College of Science and Mathematics and the College of Humanities. Natalie is a first-generation college student who, at the encouragement of her parents, initially thought that she would secure a well-paying job in dentistry by pursuing a major in biology. Natalie no longer plans to become a dentist, but rather a research professor whose work will no doubt be lasting and have an enduring impact in her field. Excelling in her coursework, she quickly caught the eye of faculty and was invited to join Dr. Espinosa's lab group. Natalie's research on the invasive brown widow spider has significant academic and applied importance. She has presented her research at CSUN, regional, and international conferences. Funded by the National Science Foundation, last summer she participated in a research experience for undergraduates at a site in Colombia. In addition to her significant research engagement, she volunteers to represent students in the biology department meetings and serves as a peer learning facilitator, helping her students in the sections achieve a 10% higher outcome on their examination versus students who are not tutored by her. Natalie also found a home in the Department of Central American and Trans-Border Studies, where she came to understand the trauma her parents faced as immigrants. Leveraging her passion, understanding, and knowledge, she has used her voice and time to aid undocumented immigrants during the pandemic, to support students seeking citizenship, and to advocate for immigrant rights. During the initial stages of the pandemic, Natalie also helped support her family by working part-time during the day as a tutor and as a caretaker for elderly people with intellectual disabilities by night, all while maintaining her status as a full-time student, keeping up her work in her lab, earning a 3.96 GPA as a double major, volunteering in the biology department, and advocating for immigrant rights through Dreams to Be Heard. An amazing individual. Dr. Beatriz Cortez, chair of the Department of Central American and Transborder Studies, says of Natalie, she is an active, independent, resourceful learner who has great regard for the knowledge that her family and her community can give her, even if outside academic circles. Her work is of an interdisciplinary nature as it oscillates between fields such as humanities, immigration studies, and the sciences. Dr. Jeannie Robertson from biology adds, I have observed Natalie in 3rd to 5th grade classrooms and was impressed by her ability to lead a classroom discussion with young children and to generate excitement and enthusiasm for the sciences. She created meaningful STEM activities. For many of these students, Natalie is the first scientist that they have interacted with who looks like them and speaks their language. She serves as a powerful role model, especially for young Latinx girls. Yeah. Natalie has been offered a position in the lab of Dr. Margarita Lopez Uribe at Penn State University for next year while she prepares her research for publication and applies to PhD programs in entomology, where she hopes to further explore biological control of pest and vector-borne diseases. Please join me as we acknowledge and celebrate our CSUN Scholar for 2023, Natalie Castillo. Some pretty amazing students, huh? Outstanding. All right. All of our students being honored here this evening represent the highest achieving members of this year's graduating class. They have excelled, and distinguished themselves during their tenure here at CSUN and are being recognized this evening for their scholastic and personal achievement. Students distinguished by scholastic achievement are graduate students with a cumulative grade point average of 3.885 or better, and graduating seniors with a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 or better through fall 2022. Students recognized for personal achievement have maintained at least a 3.0 cumulative grade point average while demonstrating excellence in an artistic, creative, or athletic nature, or they have displayed outstanding leadership skills and or completed extensive community service work. And now, at the 39th Annual Honors Convocation, we celebrate our heritage of excellence in you, graduates, from the class of fall 2022, spring 2023, and summer 2023. You have earned honors recognition. In acknowledgement of your high academic success and co-curricular achievement, the university will now present you with commemorative medallions. Ceremony ushers will be passing the medallions down to each of you, down your rows, and we ask that you take one and hang on to the medallion and not put it on until we ask that you all put them on at the same time. And so now we are going to proceed with the university's academic college roll call with all of our fabulous deans.
We will begin with the Dean from the Mike Curb College, Arts, Media, and Communication, Dr. Dan Hoskin.
All right. Will the students of the Mike Curb College of Arts, Media, and Communication please rise if you're able? Stand up. All right. Awesome. I would like to celebrate the accomplishments of these students who will go on to be the next great artists, media creators, scholars, communicators, journalists, musicians, and theater artists. Wherever their paths lead them, they will take what they've learned in the Mike Curb College at CSUN and make the world a better and brighter place. Congratulations.
Dean from the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics, Dr. Chandra Subramaniam.
Good evening. Will the students of the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics please rise if you're able? I would like to celebrate your hard work and accomplishments over the past few years that have brought you here today. We know you will become leaders in industry and serve the region by advancing your visions of your organizations using the skills and competencies and networks you have developed here. We believe you, the business graduate, will be a force for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Dean from the Michael D. Eisner College of Education, Dr. Sherry Tarver-Baring.
Good evening. Will the students of the Michael D. Eisner College of Education please rise if you are able? We would like to congratulate these graduating students of our nationally recognized Deaf Studies program, as well as our new teachers, school counselors, school psychologists, school administrators, marriage and family therapists, and early childhood specialists who are all leaving our institution prepared to offer best practices in their field, engagement in community and school partnerships, and a strong, strong, strong commitment to equity and social justice. Congratulations.
Next, Dean from the College of Engineering and Computer Science, Dr. Hussam Tutanji.
Will the students of the College of Engineering and Computer Science please rise if you are able? I would like to welcome and celebrate these students who will lead our future in applying the principles of science and mathematics to solve complex problems. We acknowledge your commitment to learning and congratulate you for being part of a group of individuals who will conceive, design, and develop remarkable infrastructures, systems, and software. Through advancements and innovations in technology, you will make the world a better place. Congratulations.
Dean from the College of Humanities, Dr. Jeffrey Reeder.
Humanities, 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 humanities. Will the students of the College of Humanities please rise if you are able? The College of Humanities is proud to recognize these incredible graduates who have the knowledge and skills needed to succeed in a rapidly changing, highly diverse, and internationally competitive field. They will contribute to our world as responsible global citizens. Graduates of Humanities, excellent, good job.
Next, Dean from the College of Health and Human Development, Dr. Michelle Best.
Will the students of the College of Health and Human Development please rise? If you are able, I'm sorry. In the College of Health and Human Development, we are the College of Life. Each of these students is dedicated to enriching the quality of human life across the lifespan. As professionals, our graduates enrich health and well-being, fitness and activity, and living environments for individuals, families, and communities. Congratulations, students of Health and Human Development.
Dean from the College of Science and Mathematics, Dr. Jerry Stinner.
Will the students of the College of Science and Mathematics please rise if you're able? I would like to celebrate the accomplishments of these students who have done so well at CSUN and who will go on to use the tools of science and mathematics to solve the world's greatest challenges. Just as during the pandemic, we will look to scientists and mathematicians for solutions to our most vexing problems, including cures for cancer and other diseases, climate change, habitat destruction, renewable energy, and sustainability. The future is bright because of you, our distinguished science and mathematics graduates.
And last but certainly not least, Dean from the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, Dr. Yann Dominique Cersei.
If you're able, would the students from the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences stand up? We celebrate and congratulate you, who are the next generation of community and national leaders, innovators, researchers, historians, educators, advocates for social and cultural justice, clinicians, social service professionals, policy and GIS experts, public servants, and scientists. You know, it's said that the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Class of 2023, from the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, the future is yours. Congratulations.
Well now, hard to match that energy. Will all the students honored here today please rise if you are able? Wave, wave, great. Students, I ask that you now place your medallions around your neck.
Yeah.
Put the bling on. Excellent. Family, friends, faculty, and staff, please help me in congratulating our 2023 scholars.
Congratulations. We thank you all for sharing this important occasion with us. We particularly want to encourage our graduating students to wear their medallions proudly at their commencement ceremonies over the next week. We now ask that all students, staff, faculty, and alumni of CSUN rise if you are able and join us for our university alma mater, Hail to the Matadors, under the musical direction of Professor Gary Fukushima and the Jazz A Band, and performed by Kevin Roman. You'll find the words of the alma mater on the back of the Honors Convocation program, and we encourage you to sing along.
Oh, hail to man and Lord, and to our schools so dear, as we move along the road of life, let us keep from down or need, for the knowledge which we might need, for all who urge us on, the Spirit of red and white will brighten every dawn, where the sun is shining and where truth leaves an open door to honor strong and courage strong. We hail our Matador.
Graduates, we encourage you to pick up a rose as you exit and go to the Matador statue and participate in the tradition of the rose. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Congratulations to our graduates.